I posted a YouTube short every day for the past 3 months and my views on my short form content basically doubled. And to be honest, this actually really wasn't what I was expecting, and it's actually changed how I think about content. And so today I just thought I would share my results, my findings, some of my thoughts around what's worked and what hasn't. Previously, I was posting maybe 1 to 2 shorts a month. It was very inconsistent and I was averaging about 500,000 views every 3 months. So I knew that shorts did work, but the main thing for me was just that I didn't have the time to stay consistent. A couple of years back, I actually posted YouTube shorts pretty much every day for almost a year. But when I was doing that, every short felt like I was creating it from scratch, and it ended up taking me about 2 full days of every single week just to keep up with my shorts uploads. But for me, since most of my revenue was still coming from my long form content, it just wasn't worth that 2 days of every single week. Now, at the time, I experimented with using AI to cut up my long form content to create more short form content, but it just wasn't that good at the time, and I was finding I just wasn't getting good results. However, recently I actually started experimenting again with creating short form clips using AI, and I've been using Riverside, who happens to be partnering with this video. And to be honest, even if Riverside weren't partnering with this video, I would still make this video the exact same way because it is actually genuinely a part of my workflow for my short form content. And so when I started experimenting again using AI to cut up my long form content and make shorts from it, I found that Riverside was giving me good results, and so I decided I would just experiment, give myself 3 months and post consistently and then see what the results were. And I actually just this past week analyzed the results, and that's what I want to share in this video. But the really big unlock for me was just the time savings using AI. I was taking literally 2 full days to create my short form content, whereas now using AI, it takes me 2 hours to cut out the content and upload it and schedule it all out for a week. And so it's very sustainable. So basically, I'm just going to show you how I do it, what my workflow is on my actual computer. And then after that, I'll take you through some of my analytics, and then I'll basically share my thoughts and my findings from doing this experiment. I actually found it really interesting, so I hope you do too. Let's jump onto my Mac and I'll take you through the actual workflow process. Okay, so here we are inside my Riverside studio. As you can see, I've already created a bunch of short form clips from my latest video. But basically the way I create my content is I'll just hit the upload button. I'll find my latest YouTube video, which for me is this GV50 review. Literally drag and drop it into the upload file section, hit upload, and from here I wait for it to upload. Now while we're waiting, basically the way I do it is I've created this ChatGPT prompt. We'll take the transcripts from the video and then just spit out a whole bunch of pre-selected short form clips from the transcript. If you're interested in this prompt, let me know. I can leave a link in the description if you want to download it. I'd be happy to share it, no problem. But now we're back in Riverside and the video is uploaded. As you can see, it's generating show notes. It generates a whole bunch of stuff with AI automatically, which is awesome. And right here we can see we've already got 4 clips that have already been created, and it even scores them. So this score here is based on how well the Riverside AI thinks this will likely perform. So this is really well optimized for all sorts of social media platforms. But what I'll do is I'll go back to recordings here. We've got the transcript, which is ready. So I'm just going to download this, just download it as a text file. And then I'm just going to jump back to ChatGPT and just upload this with my prompt, hit enter. And then just like that, as you can see, it's going to give me all of these different clips. And the best part arguably is that it gives me titles as well as descriptions and hashtags that I can just copy and paste into the YouTube description. This is giving me a whole bunch of short form clips that I could use. Often these will be the same clips that Riverside will actually already recommend. So what I tend to do is I'll just watch these back, and most of these will be great. I'll just add some captions and then I can immediately download them and then upload them straight onto YouTube and just schedule them out for the week. So as you can see, it takes like just a few minutes. It's really not a difficult process. Now, next I want to show you the actual statistics in my YouTube analytics. But before we do, just want to explain a bit more about Riverside, because like I said, I am a big fan. And in fact, one of the lessons I actually learned from this experiment was how important long form content still is. And so if you're a short form creator and you're wanting to make more long form, then Riverside is actually a really great place to start with that. Because one of the biggest challenges with creating long form content is just how much effort it is, how much friction there is in the creation process. But some of the benefits of using Riverside include the fact that you don't need to record your audio and your video separately. It all gets recorded into your one Riverside studio. It also records your audio and video locally, so you're getting maximum quality. And this also covers any guests that you invite into your Riverside studio to do a recording with. It's all web browser based, so you don't need any extra hardware. And then once you've recorded your video, you can actually edit it inside your browser, so you don't need any extra editing software. And again, you can use heaps of AI tools to really speed up the process. You can even use the same AI to create an entire long form video. But of course you can add your own music, you can add your own B-roll. There's honestly so much that Riverside can do, including really easy repurposing, even with text for all sorts of different platforms. You can live stream directly from Riverside to multiple platforms, and it can even create your YouTube thumbnails for you. So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast or creating content, then definitely check out Riverside. There's a link in the description, and if you use the code NICK1, you'll get your first 30 days of any subscription completely free. Okay, so here we are in my YouTube studio, and this is my shorts analytics, as you can see. And like I said, in the past 90 days, I've gotten around 1.1 million shorts views with about 500,000 engaged views, and we've gotten just over 500 new subscribers. Now, the good thing is the retention, so the number of viewers actually staying to watch, has stayed relatively high, even though my view count has increased a lot. So it's sitting at about 66%. I'd ideally like to see this above 70, but considering the amount of effort that I'm putting into my short form content, which as you just saw is not much, I'm really happy with this number. What is also really interesting to me is that almost 80% of my views is coming from YouTube search. And that really surprised me because I generally think of short form content as something that people only find in the shorts feed. As you can see, I've got about 16.4% of my views coming from the shorts feed. So I actually think there's a huge untapped market or potential for search-based content when it comes to short form content, which is surprising. I think there's a lot more virality obviously in a shorts feed, but the fact that I'm showing up so much in search is actually really good for me because hopefully that means I'm attracting more targeted viewers who are interested in the kind of content that I'm publishing both on my long form and my short form. Now, one other really interesting thing that I wanted to highlight is just the fact that some of my top performing shorts are actually ones that are quite old now. So this one, for example, has been out for 870 days. I don't even know how many years that is. That's quite a while. And you can see that it was getting steady views for quite a while. And then about 2 years into it, it suddenly started taking off and getting even more views. And this is also giving me the steady trickle of subscribers, which has been great. Not much revenue comes from shorts, which again is why I'm not willing to dedicate too much time to it. But this ties into one of the lessons from making short form content that I've learned, which I'll share in the next section. But I just want to show you a comparison for the previous 90 days. So if we go back to make this custom, if we go from the 6th 4th to the 6th of the 7th, 25. So that's basically the previous 3 months. This is how it compares. So I was getting about 750,000 views from shorts and about 375,000 engaged views. I was getting about 344 subscribers on average. And again, that's a bit more than half of what I'm getting now. Again, the engagement is still relatively high here. It's gone down a little bit, which is what I would expect, but the majority of my views were coming from YouTube search. However, as we just saw, a lot of my new views are also coming from the shorts feed. And I think that's partly from YouTube just pushing out a lot of my short form content as I'm publishing it now. But the thing to me is, considering the fact that I'm now spending basically 1 day per month creating short form content, and my views have gone up to 1.1 million for the past 90 days, which is about 43% more than the previous 90 days. And I've almost doubled my subscribers. To me, that is 100% worth it. And so I think if you're already making long form content and you're not doing this, then I think it's a missed opportunity. I think it's something that you should definitely at least give a go. But to me, there's basically kind of 4 main takeaways for me that I have learnt from this experiment and want to share. So number 1 is kind of basic, but shorter shorts actually work better than longer shorts. So I found that on average, 9-second shorts performed about twice as well as 30-second shorts. So if you're creating short form content, keep it snappy. I think a big part of that is from that shorts feed. People just don't have long attention spans when it comes to watching short form content like that. So that's something big to keep in mind. Next, like I already pointed out, for me, search is beating virality. I think that's totally okay. I think so many people aim to go viral on YouTube, and the reality is it's actually really quite difficult. You really have to optimize your hooks. You really have to optimize the video. And if you're someone like me who focuses on long form content, you just don't really have the time to invest in that. And so I think a lot of people, including myself, have just given up on creating short form content because I've thought, well, if I can't spend the time to actually optimize my short form content, what's the point? But I think this experiment to me has shown me that it is 100% still worth it. Even if your hooks aren't optimized, like you saw, these videos are literally just ripped directly from my long form content. It can still rank in search, and that can go a long way to discoverability of your channel in general. Lesson number 3 is that a system is always going to beat motivation. On the flip side, if you've got a bad system, that's always going to destroy any motivation you might be able to muster up. And that's basically what happened to me. I wasn't able to sustain the system of creating shorts from scratch. And so now what I do is I found a system that makes it really easy for me. And that again is something that I always say to content creators: make the process for yourself as easy as possible. If you do that, you'll be able to be consistent and you'll be able to improve your results. And again, that is what I'm finding for myself. When I post more consistently, more regularly, my views and subscribers will always go up because there's just more surface area for my content to be found. And that leads directly into the 4th learning for me, and that is to just post more, not perfect. I think I am still really guilty of trying to make all of my content perfect, look well color graded, look sharp, all of that kind of stuff, when I think the reality is most people are just looking for something real. They want to connect with a real person. They want to watch something that's relatable. They don't care if it looks picture perfect or not. Obviously that helps, that's nice, but it's not the main thing that people are going for. And I think this experiment has really reminded me that I need to stop chasing perfection and just post more content. And I think one of the freeing things about this experiment to me has shown me that even when my posts aren't perfect, when they're kind of just a bit more raw and kind of less edited in some ways, they still perform. People are still connecting with it. I think that is the main thing at the end of the day. I'm trying to connect with other people online who share the same interests and all that kind of stuff. So the more authentic and real I can be, the better. So for me, moving forward, the next steps, the things I'm going to be experimenting with is making shorter clips. Up till now, I've pretty much been prompting AI to give me clips that are about 20 seconds long, whereas I really want to try creating more clips that are like below 10 seconds. Apart from that, I am interested in experimenting with some more custom hooks, but I need to make it sustainable. So I'm thinking maybe I might even just use some of the clips that I've cut with Riverside and then just quickly film a more tailored hook and then just slap that on. But there you go. I'm really curious to hear how you're going with your short form content or your long form content. How's it all going? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to use the exact same setup and system that I do, then make sure you check out Riverside. Don't forget to use that code. In the meantime, if you want a bit more info on Riverside, I've got a video here explaining the editing process and you can see just how easy it is.